Hi, I'm James Rankin, Governor of South Texas Optimist. Guys, it's a pleasure to be with you to introduce this brand new program called the Bullying Program. As you know, the Optimists are dedicated to bring out the best in kids. How do we do that? Well, we do an oratorical contest. We have essay contests. We have the chicken program, drug prevention. But I think one of the most powerful programs that we have now is the bullying program. And basically, bullying stops today. That's the program. Now, across the state, there's a mandate to address the bullying problem. It's got out of hand. I mean, kids are actually taking their own lives, for God's sake. The kids who are bullied are bringing weapons onto the campus, which endangers everybody. We as Optimists have a positive solution to the bullying program, and it's called Bullying Stops Today. Now, as you may know, we are Optimists, and as Optimists we have a creed, and this is our creed here. I love this creed. I wrote a book about it called Power of the Creed. The reason I like it so much is it addresses the negative emotions that kids have. Think about this. What's a negative emotion? How about anger? That's what bullies have. They're angry, and that's why they bully kids. How do we get rid of that? To be too noble for anger. It's part of our creed. What's another negative trait? How about hatred? Hatred. Well, how do we address hatred? How about this? To be just as enthusiastic about the success of others as you are about your own. To look at the sunny side of everything and make your optimism come true. To make all your friends feel that there is something in them. So these are positive words, and I'm thoroughly convinced that when kids get exposed to the Optimist Creed, they will be happier, they'll be well-adjusted. Why? Because the Optimist Creed is real. It's a philosophy of looking for the best in everything. And that's what we want to help kids do. If you think about your own life, your life improved when you had read success literature. Do you agree with that? It made all the difference in the world. I remember as a young kid, my dad gave me a book called The Power of Positive Thinking, Norman Vincent Peale. That changed my life. I was an angry little red-headed Scottish kid, and I read that and I realized how important thoughts were. Thoughts are magnetic. They attract to you. But kids have got to learn this, and they're not being taught that right now. So we as Optimists, as volunteers, can come into a school and teach them about bullying. No cost to the school system. These are volunteers who've been trained on how to educate people on bullying. Now let me tell you why it works, and we've done this in several schools. The reason the bullying program works is, number one, it's simple. The problem is we take something simple and we have a tendency to make it complex. The key to true intelligence is taking something very complex and making it simple for kids to understand. How do we do that? Well, first of all, we have some role-playing. We've written a nice little script of a kid being bullied, and the kids perform that. And what's unique is they're able to act out. And I'll tell you what happens 9 out of 10 times. The kid who's the bully in real life plays the bully in the park because they usually volunteer. Hey, let me be the bully. And so we play that out. We have questions. Questions show interest, and I think the success is that it's interactive. The kids get involved. It's not some talking head, here are strategies. No. It's how do you feel about bullying? Have you been bullied? Do you feel safe? And then also having people share ideas. For instance, James, when you were growing up, did you ever have a bullying problem?
Yes, I had all my brothers.
You had brothers, so you got bullied by your own family.
Oh, they bullied all the time. They always pushed me down.
And what were your strategies to overcome that?
Knock them upside the head.
I'll tell you what happened to me. I had an older brother, too, who was a tough kid. And what it made me do was work out, get stronger, and then the day that I beat him, I mean, of course, we don't want to talk about that with kids, but it made me a stronger guy. And my confidence just went out the roof. Because I said, hey, I'm not going to put up with it anymore. I'm going to get stronger and be better. Now, one thing that's very important, though, and I want to, this is going to be addressed to school boards and all, so I want to put on a serious face here and say that what kids need to realize is that they are not victims of bullying. We don't need to paint the victim mentality. They are targets. And that's what Peter Van Beek talks about in his lectures, is these kids have been targeted by other people. Why? Because of their skin color, because of their religious background, because they're smaller, maybe socioeconomically they're disadvantaged. It's wrong. And we've got to defend these kids, and that's why I'm so adamant about putting in a bullying program, to empower the kids to say, look, we can form a program together, we can learn techniques, and more importantly, learn strategies, life-changing strategies and philosophy to make a difference. Now, I talked about the first part, and that was role play, getting the kids involved. Also, asking questions. You learn so much by asking questions. And Maria, you pointed out that you bullied a little bit when you were growing up.
I did.
And then what was the reason for that?
Because I was angry at everyone. They were better than me. They were dressed better than me.
Wow.
Those were just examples in my head that I used. And so, of course, in order to compensate for not having, I bullied a little. Not to an extreme, but at least to a part to where they felt afraid of me.
You know what, thank you for sharing that. One of the things we also do in our program is we address the bullies. The reason why is the bullies were bullied, or something's going on in their life. So you don't want to put them aside, you make it worse. You bring them into the forefront. And we talk about that in the classroom setting. Why do you feel the need to bully? And most of these kids feel like they were bullied, or they don't feel good about themselves. And so by embracing the power of optimism, they have a better self-esteem. And think about it, what is self-esteem? Self-esteem is how they feel about themselves, their self-worth. I always say self-image is what you see in the mirror. Self-esteem is how you feel about what you see. And kids need to know that they are special and that they have talents. They can do something better than anyone else can do. Our challenge is to help the kids find out what that is. And bullying is a distraction. It's an impediment to their growth, and we want to help get rid of that. So, that works. Now, also making something complex easy, we have what I call the vowel strategies. I'm going to share a couple of these with you so that you kind of see the content. And by the way, everybody who's interested will get a copy of this that you can read through. Now, I love acronyms because it helps you remember things. I like clever things because it always stays in the forefront. We all know the vowels, right? What's the first vowel, Willie?
A.
A stands for address. When you are bullied, you need to address the situation. How do you address it? First of all, you can do it verbally. Don, I feel like you're bullying me and I don't appreciate it anymore. Okay, it's got to stop. Bullying stops today. Okay, because you're better than that. And I don't like getting bullied. I could write a letter. I could make a phone call. I could tell a teacher. We're going to address the situation. You need to know that you are empowered to change things. That's the key. All right, how about you, James? What's the next vowel?
E.
E, elevate. What does that mean? That means maybe I raise my voice a little bit. Maybe I stand up a little straighter when you're bullying me. You see, we have to elevate that situation so that it can come to a head and come to a conclusion. But you can't let it continue. And when you change the temperament, you change the outcome. You really do. All right, what's the next one?
I.
I is my favorite. The key to this program also, Terry, is teaching kids how to be problem solvers. That's what I like about this. Because in most cases, this is their first major life-changing problem. I'm getting bullied. I need help. Well, let's use the I acronym. It's actually IDEA. I stands for identify. You've identified a problem. I'm getting bullied, and why? I get bullied in third period. So you've identified. D stands for design. We're going to design a strategy to overcome it. Which means if I get beat up on the third period around this bend, I'm going to quit going around the bend. I'm going to make a new route or do something along those lines. But design. We teach kids that they have the ability to design a unique strategy to overcome the problem. What is the next one? E. E for evaluate. How successful am I in overcoming this bullying situation? And then A stands for adapt. I'm going to modify my plan. I'm going to adapt it to make sure it works. But what happens to the kids is they get more confident, more poised, realizing I can overcome this. And in many cases, I can solve it myself. And what does that do to my self-esteem? It goes straight up. Absolutely. Okay, what about the next one? Next vowel is what? A-E-I-O. My favorite one as well. O for optimism. Here's where we teach them the power of optimism. Each student will get a copy of the creed. We will basically recite it and talk about it because it is a powerful creed. Now why don't you do that with me, everybody? Let's do the creed to show the power of these words. We're going to promise yourself to be so strong that nothing can disturb your peace of mind. To talk health, happiness, and prosperity to every person you meet. to make all your friends feel that there is something in them, to look at the sunny side of everything and make your optimism come true, to think of only of the best, to work only for the best, and to expect only the best, to be just as enthusiastic about success of others as you are about your own, to forget the mistakes of the past and press on to greater achievements in the future, to wear a cheerful countenance at all times and give every living creature you meet a smile, to give so much time to the improvement of yourself that you have no time to criticize others, to be too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to admit the presence of trouble. I can tell you right now, with as much sincerity as I can, this has changed millions of lives. I can tell you that. Just people I know in the organization. And remember, we've had this creed since 1912 in the Optimist organization. That's amazing. It's recited hundreds of thousands of times throughout the year by all the clubs. We roughly have about 2,300 clubs worldwide, close to 100,000 members. And we've all embraced this. Just good, positive thinking. And what you think materializes. I tell kids, your thoughts are like magnets. You attract what you think about. So if you focus on the good, you get the good. You really do. And you increase the likelihood of being a very positive person. So the O is for optimism. And we talk about what is optimism. It's defined as seeing the best in everything. Ralph Waldo Emerson said it best. The sign of mental health is to see good in all things. And I believe that. The logo this year for our district was Credo and Optimus, which is Latin for believe in the very best. And I internalize that. I really do believe that as well. It makes a difference. Bill, how about yourself? Have you ever been bullied before?
I think so, yeah.
Tell us about that. How did you feel?
I think it was when I was in elementary school. There was some guy on my walk home who would bully me on my way home as I was walking home.
Goodness. And it left the scar tissue, didn't it?
I still remember it.
One of the things we also do is we get each of the students to take a clean piece of paper, they wad it up, and then we ask them to unfold it and to smooth it out as best they can. It's never the same, is it? And that's what happens when a kid is bullied. They have scar tissue the rest of their life. I have a secretary right now. She literally cried thinking about when she was bullied in elementary school. I'll tell you another story. We had a president of one of our Optimist Club. I did a presentation there. And, of course, I don't want to publicize this. I'll never use his name. But he said he was bullied so bad in junior high school that 25 years later, he's in the Kroger supermarket. He sees a guy in the cookie aisle and punches him. Can you believe that? 25 years later. But I'm just saying, bullying scars people. And I think we can be a catalyst to prevent that. Now, we never want to talk about violence, but the fact of the matter is, bullying is a problem. It stays with you. And if we can educate kids early on to say, we're going to overcome this, I think we're going to be way ahead of the ballgame. So, AEIO, the last one? U is for understanding. And that's where we talk to not only the bullied, but also the bully. Let's try to understand, why is there a need to bully? And then we express that. There's a poem that I learned from the Optimist organization that I love, and I want to share it with you, if you'll indulge me, Terry. And this will hit home. And here it is. It's called The Builder. And the builder says this. Here it is. I saw them tearing a building down, a team of men in my hometown. With a he and a ho and yes, a yell, they swung a beam, and a side wall fell. As I said to the foreman, are these men skilled, like the ones you used when you had to build? He laughed and said, oh no indeed. The most common labor is all I need. For I can destroy in a day or two what takes a builder 10 years to do. Think about that. We build up. We have our life experiences that can be torn down by just one bullying incident. And that's why we got to empower our kids. And that's why we are dedicated to helping schools and kids throughout the state of Texas with our new bullying program. So give us an opportunity. Love to talk to you in more detail. Thank you very much.